Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a video showing you how I use some of the templates that are available on my Etsy shop and blog. The reason for this is that I've been getting a lot of messages and requests from people to show them how I use the templates, how to change colors of them, change text, how to navigate the software in general. So this video will hopefully address a lot of those concerns. If you don't know, I do have an Etsy shop where I sell some templates. Here are some of the ones that I have open right now. This one right here, this headers template, was a freebie on my blog that you could download just to see if this is something that you would be interested in. I'll also link that post within this post that has the video on it. So first I'm going to be explaining how I use this one, since this is the one that most of you probably already have downloaded. So a common misconception is that to use these templates you have to have a Silhouette Cameo or Portrait or any one of those devices to have the software. That's not true. The software is available online on the Silhouette website for free. There are upgrades to it like Designer Edition, Business Edition. I just use the basic free one because that's just the one that is the one that I would use most. You can also use them in Photoshop. I'm not too comfortable with using Photoshop. I use it for some things, usually not for stickers. I just feel like this one makes it a lot easier to move things around in. However, if you do prefer Photoshop, I do have a version of the files that I sell that is made for Photoshop. So the first thing that I do, I'm going to focus on this headers template first. So what I usually do with these is I'll select my color scheme. This was the color scheme that was in the Thanksgiving kit that was posted a couple days ago. I'll also link that in this post if you're interested in looking at that. But these were the colors that I chose. I just have them on flags because it makes it easier for me to see what the colors are, what they look like, etc. So all these templates are blacked out just so you know because I don't want people to think that when they're purchasing that they were going to be getting stickers that they could like print out and cut like that were ready to go. These are definitely templates that you'll want to play around with unless you just truly do want just completely black stickers. But with these headers, to change colors, I'm just going to click on the one here, and then I can go into my fill tool, click on the eyedropper, and then I can click on whatever color I want here. I'm going to go with this one here. Now if I zoom in, you'll notice that the line is black. That's because I'll need to change the line color to match too, just to get rid of that. I just like the way that looks more. And then you have that. Now if I want to change, for example, all of these today headers that are in this row here, I can just drag, select them all, and then a bit of a hint, instead of just going constantly to hit the eyedropper tool, you can hit the control key if you're on a PC and just click, and it'll set the line color to match the line color of the one that you previously had. I can do the same with the fill tool. So you can use the eyedropper for this one because it's easier. And there we go. Now they're all that color. Now let's say I wanted to change all of the to-do headers to this orangey yellow color. Now if I click one and then I hold down shift, I can select multiple at a time and I can change their colors too. So now they're all filled in that color, and then I'm going to change the line color to match that as well. So that's just a really quick way to change all of those colors. You can change an entire row. Let's say I wanted them to all be this red color. That's also possible. So it's really easy to change the colors, as you can see. You can also change the background. You can make them a pattern if you want. That's how I make the glitter headers. So let's say I wanted this work one. If I go into this little book here, which is where all my patterns are stored, you'll see here's a pattern set. I'm going to be designing a kit with this soon. I think I'm going to call it Spa Night, but I'm not sure yet. If I go into my glitter folder, I can just select a color from here. Let's do this one up here. And now it's that color. Now let's say I want the line color to match. I can just hit the eyedropper tool, pick a random point that I think matches, and there we go. Now if I zoom in and decide on this one that I really don't like the way this glitter looks, I'd like it to be more zoomed in, zoomed out, you can go up here to this tool, which has like the box with all the dots in it. It's the fill pattern one. If you go to advanced, hold that down, scroll down a little, and then go to pan pattern. I can move it around so that it's in any way that I want it to. You can also rotate it. For glitter, it doesn't really do anything. You can also scale it, zoom in, zoom out. So if I wanted something very close up, I can do that. If I wanted something that was a bit more subtle, you could zoom out a bit more and just make it look a little bit textured. I generally like to keep these at 150 I think at that point you can see enough of the texture, but you can still see the text. So that's basically colors. Another really cool thing with these templates is that once you've set your colors in a way that you like, so for example, if you like all of your today headers to be a certain color, all of your little things to be another color, you can do that and then use that as a separate template, and you'll see what I mean here. If I go here, these were my October colored assorted headers that I had on my blog. I can also link that post below if I remember. But this is what I normally do because it doesn't really make sense for me to pull up this template every single time and add colors. I mean, this is generally the theme that I like, where I like to have one column that's all orange, one shade of orange, another that's another shade, another that's another shade, then one that's the accent color, and then I like to have these alternating. So what I can do is if I hit Control A here and copy all of this into a separate document, okay, there we go. I can go in and let's say I want to make all of these colors into this color scheme. I can copy paste that, pull it in here. And then if I go down here, which is the select by color tool, if I hit that and I go by fill, let's wait for that to load. It usually gets, the software kind of gets glitchy sometimes and it doesn't load. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to opt to change all of these orange ones to this green one, including all of these orange ones here into this one instantly. Okay, here we go, it's loaded. So if this is the color that I want to change, I'll just go in. I'm hitting Shift to pull up my my dropper tool, and there we go. Now they're all filled in with that color. Then I can do the same with the line color. And then I can do that really quickly. That's usually what I do with my kits to change colors quickly, because usually I'll want to have a certain ratio of colors, and then that way I don't have to start from scratch every time. So let's go back to this document here. So you'll see this note. I haven't really addressed it yet. Essentially, it's because these fonts are things that I found online or fonts that I've purchased. If you don't have them downloaded, they won't show up for you. The only way they'll show up is if I completely flatten them and make them so that they cannot be edited, which is essentially what I've done here. So you'll see I can pull the letters apart pretty easily. That's because I've made them into separate objects. Because once you're able to edit them, it'll just show up in whatever default fonts you have installed. And I considered offering, like, I'd have to offer the fonts as a download as well with the purchase, which wouldn't make sense. That would be me essentially selling someone else's font, which obviously would not be legal. So instead I've just made them to separate objects. You can just resize them. You can change the colors of them as well. Yeah, just like that. Alright, so with that comes the question, how can I edit the text? And obviously you won't be able to get them in this exact font unless you have this one downloaded. So the way I would do it is this. I would open up this A tool, which is the text. I'd hit that, and then let's say I want to change it to, let me just find a header that's not on here that I could use. There's a school one. I'll do like classes. And let's say I want this, make this first one capitalized. It's going to show up blue. That's just my setting. For some of you, it'll show up red, depending on how long you've had the software and how long you've had to play with it. And let's say I want to go in and I want to make my font this one. Yeah, I like that one. So I'm actually going to make this text white now so that it matches that one. So I'm going to go through with the rotate tool, and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees so it's the same orientation as these. Now if I zoom in and I go into the today header, you'll see I'll only be able to move one letter at a time. So if I click on it, then hit Shift, click on these other ones, I can delete them all at once. And then this one I can shrink down a little bit more, something like that. Might need a bit more. This font isn't really too great for headers. It's a bit too tall, and then you can just place it in here. Yeah, I mean, I don't love the way that looks, but hey, it works. So that's one way you could do that, and you would just have to do that for all of them. Now if I wanted everything in this row to be classes headers, I can just hit here, delete the today. I'm just gonna quickly select that, and then if I hit on the classes header here, and I go to the duplicate tool, which is kind of this flower circle looking thing, and then I hit, I think these are exactly 0.3 apart, I can't remember, so if I move it -0.3, yeah, it'll align it perfectly. And you can just go down the row and do that. So that's one way you can edit the text. Also, if you just want to download this font, you can find it. It's not a difficult font to find. It's just logistically I couldn't do that because it would just take whatever font it was and change it to the closest thing that you have downloaded. And it was just simpler to do it this way. So that's one way you can definitely change all of your headers. Yeah, I think I'm done with this one. So yeah, that's a way, again, that you can edit them quickly. I've showed you how to change colors, how to change text. You can change text colors again because these are just objects. You can just go in and change the fill color of them to be whatever you'd like. I've showed you how to make them glitter headers. I'll be doing another video later on showing you how I make these glitter textures that you can add to the backgrounds because it can be a bit complicated. But yeah, also if you just want to delete this after you get it, this is just the watermark. It's pretty easy. You can just delete it like that. And this one, obviously, you don't have to keep this there. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to move on to the next portion. Oh, and again, this is available on my blog for free. I would definitely recommend downloading this and trying it out before purchasing any of the ones on my shops. That way you have a bit of practice using Silhouette Studio. Again, it's a very self-explanatory process. It's all about dragging and clicking. There are no fancy tools that you need to use to be able to use it. It's pretty easy to use. Alright, so we're going to continue with the next portion of the tutorial, and we're going to be looking at an actual page of one of the kits that I offer. So if you've looked at my Etsy shop, you've seen that I mainly offer bundles, which are 6 pages of kits, and this is the exact format that I use for my kits that I post on my blog. I just felt that these would be pretty easy, like an easy way to make your own kits. So this is the first page, and this is the one for the Happy Planner. This is just the first one that I pulled up. And this page has 8 full boxes, 8 half boxes, and then 8 quarter boxes, and then 8 flags of various sizes. So this is, again, the page that I use. Here's an example of a completed one. This was, again, from the Thanksgiving kit. You'll see how I generally use that. I usually like to do our full boxes all patterned, of course. Flags all solid, and then half patterned, half solid for the half and quarter boxes. So this is the exact page that is offered. This one is for purchase. I do not have this one as a single page. It's just as a bundle. However, if you do want a single page, I have a page that looks like this. And this one, instead of the flag, just has more quarter boxes. And this one is $2.70 on my blog, or on my shop, excuse me. It's available right now. I released it not too long ago. So if you just want something like this for a cheaper price, you can purchase that. However, if you'd like 5 more pages of stickers like this to make a full kit on your own, you can get all 6 pages for $15, which comes out to be roughly, I believe, $2.50. Yeah, I think that might be it. Yeah, it's $2.50. So you get a slight discount when you purchase the bundle, of course. But yeah, so I'm going to start out first by showing you how I design some of the kits. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be designing a kit for this spa night paper. I titled it Girls Night here because I wasn't sure, but I felt like spa night was more accurate. You'll see more of the papers up close when I open them, but it's kind of like a slumber party theme where you have like makeup and nail polish and like pajamas and brushes, etc. So yeah, this is going to be the one that I use. I have quite a few papers here to choose from, so I'm not quite sure which ones I'll go with. Yeah. So again, these are all blacked out, and the way that these half boxes work is that these aren't, like these boxes themselves, are not actually gray. So if you click on this box and change the color, let's say to like this teal color, this half box will change to match that. So it doesn't always stay gray, which is an advantage you get if you use the Studio 3 file over the Photoshop file. With the Photoshop file, if you change this color, it'll stay this exact shade and it won't change based on the background, which also makes it really cool for patterns. It means that obviously your half box will change based on whatever pattern you have. I'm just going to get rid of that quickly. So let's say, so I have 8 half boxes. That's usually the way I like, or 8 full boxes, excuse me. That's usually the way I like to do the kits. I like to have a good amount of decorative boxes to use. So I'm going to click on this first one. I'm going to go into the book, and I think this is the first one that I want. Yeah, so if you see here, if I zoom in, you'll see that there are kind of some lines. That's because that's where the pattern ends. So I want to get rid of those by zooming in a bit more. So if I go to Fill Pattern, Advanced again, and I scroll down, I'm going to set this to 100. Does that take care of it? I don't know. So let's go here and pan it so that those lines are gone. I'm going to zoom in a bit more just so I can get rid of those completely. Okay, here we go. And so you'll see that the line border around this is still black. This won't show up when you print, but just from when I'm looking at it, I like to get rid of it. So I'm just going to hit no line on that one. Alright, so we have that one, and then I'm going to go into this next one. And I think I like this one here. So let's do that one. Yep, perfect. Oop. That one got dragged by accident. Alright, and then I'll go through, and I definitely like this one here. Then maybe something like this. Then let's do this like flowery purple one because I don't really have very much purple going on in this one. And you'll see why I like to vary colors in a bit when I'm choosing my color scheme. Again, this is like the full process, like start to finish. This is what I actually do. I pull up one of these and I do this. So let's go with that stripy one. I really like this one. Or maybe I kind of like this one a bit more. Yeah. Let's do this one, and then let me zoom out. What color am I missing? I definitely could use more purple. So maybe we'll do like this. Nah, maybe pink. This. Yeah, that looks okay. And I might change this later on. Like this might not be the final product. I just want to get something on here just so quickly. So I'm going to get rid of the lines on all of these. It's kind of bothering me. Alright, here we go. So now we have this. So that's how easy it would be. Again, to get these patterns into your library, you can just make a new folder, and then you can just go into your photos, like your downloads or whatever, and then drag them into this area, and they'll pop up here. So if you don't want to set it, so like if you don't want to have a shape, and then fill that shape with a pattern, you can just go into here, and then double click that pattern, and it'll just show up as a box, and then that you can like resize to make one of these. I just think it makes more sense to click on a shape that you've already established as the size of your full box, and then add that pattern to it. It just seems to make more sense for me to do it that way. So then what I do next is, after I've added all the full boxes, the first thing I'll do is I'll set my color scheme, which I think it's really important to have a good color scheme early on, and I always let the full boxes guide the colors. So some people might say, like, I want this color scheme, so I'm going to look for patterns that match that, or I'm going to design patterns that match that. I'm kind of the other way around. I look for patterns that I really like, and then I adjust my color scheme based on those patterns. So this one, especially with this box, like these boxes here, and like this one too, I can see a pretty clear color scheme for me here. So I definitely am going to want some of that pink. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to hit Control, and then I'm going to click to get the colors. So I definitely want a purple here, and then maybe some of this yellow, and then a blue, just kind of a cool tone color to tie it in. So at this point I'm kind of debating whether I want this lighter pink or this darker pink, so I'll test those out. No, definitely the darker one, for sure. So then that'll be my color scheme. Alright. So then after that, I'll go in with my half boxes, and I'll usually make them to match the boxes above. Sometimes I'll zoom them in a bit more. Like I think this one's going to be, yeah, this one for sure I'll want to zoom in a bit more because it's really hard to tell what that is. So then I'll go in, scroll down, and then I'll zoom in like that. Maybe I'll like rotate it a bit too. No, I like it like that. And then I'll do the same for all of these boxes. So we'll do this one. And sometimes, especially with stuff like this, I might actually end up varying. Like I might use patterns that were not in the full boxes since I have some extras. Like maybe I'll go with this one. And then maybe I'll do some of these polka dots here that I didn't get around to using. Like, yeah. And then that way I can use more of the papers to their fullest. So you'll see what I meant earlier when I said that the inside of the half box changes based on what is around it. So, like, let me just select one real quickly. Do this one. You'll see that this is just a transparent box, so that like if I move it around, like I put it, it's kind of hard to see, like if I put it here or here, it's not like a set color. It's just a transparent box that adjusts to what's around it. So it shows you some of what's behind it, but also creates a blank space or like a white space for you to write in whatever you need. So we've done that. And then I'll go through and I'll do all of that and I'll do all the same things again. But again, as I showed you with the headers one, I don't really like to start from scratch with a lot of these things. So what I'll do is here, I'll go to a page that I've already completed, which is like this Thanksgiving kit. And I'll highlight all of that, paste it into another document, and then I can go through and I'll just delete all these full boxes and I'll replace them with this one here. Where did that go? Was this one? Nope, it was this one. And I'll go ahead and I'll line that up again. Alright. And I'll do, let me make sure that fits between the lines. Barely. Okay. Here we go. And so then I'll go through and I'll do all my half boxes again, but instead of changing all of these colors and going in like manually and making them the color scheme that I want, if I just go back to my original one where I set that color scheme, I'll just copy that and paste it here. And then I'll go to my color selector, and this is the one that takes forever. Oh, it's actually loaded already. Okay, so I'll go to by fill, and I'll click on this one up here. And I want all of the green ones to be pink now. And you'll see how like the kit slowly transforms into being what I want it to. So I'm going to make this yellowy color this now. And I'll just go ahead and do that for all of them, and then after that I'll just name the kit whatever I want. I'll change the title up there and the little code down here just so I can identify it better. Oh, this yellow color is actually similar to what it was before, wasn't it? Interesting. Yeah, and so then I'll just go through the last one, make that blue, and there we go. And so then that way it takes me less than essentially 3 minutes. The hard part is finding the full boxes and arranging them in a way that I like them, in a way that I think is pleasing, and then changing all these half boxes. Obviously I have to go and do that manually, but it makes it really quick. So generally it takes me 3 minutes to design one of these pages. But yeah, so I can go through and I can make it like, I don't know, what do they call it? Spa kit. Page 1, Happy Planner. So now another thing you can do with these is if you do have a cutting machine, a die cutting machine, you might not want it to cut around the edge. So for example, the way it's set right now is that it will cut the outline of this shape so that it fits perfectly in your Happy Planner box. But you might not want to do that. You might want to have some overhang, so if your machine does decide to be ever so slightly off, it won't affect it and you won't get any white space. You'll get the pattern. So you'll see what I mean here. You're just going to add an offset. So I'm going to do it with this one because this one will be pretty clear to see. Actually, I'll do this one since this one's on the edge. So then I'll go to offset here, and what an offset does, it essentially adds a border around it. So I'm going to make this a corner, and I'm going to set this offset 0.035. I think makes a lot of sense. Yeah, here we go. So I'm going to apply that offset, and I'm going to set the line color of that one to blue, just so I know that this is the offset and this is the actual shape. And I'm going to go into the actual shape that I have selected. I'm going to make that one red to represent the cut line, and then I'm going to go in and make this fill color blank. So what you'll see here is the blue line is how far the shape will extend, and then the red line here is what's actually going to cut out and what will actually peel off. So if I go to the blue line and select that, I can go in and I can select my pattern, and I think it was this one, I don't remember, maybe it was. I'll do this one here. Actually, this one's kind of hard to see because of that red line, so I'll make it, is this one? They're all kind of hard to see. Okay, we'll do this one. This one kind of has a white background. Yeah, this one works. So you can see here that the picture actually extends out to the blue line, but the device will only cut the red line. And the way to ensure that is to click on the blue line and go to your cut settings, which is like this, and it's going to change your thing to look kind of weird. So I'm selecting that one, and I'm going to hit cut edge, and then I'm going to click on the red line. It'll let me. Is it? I can't tell. I don't know. What you can do is you can go in and you can do it by line color, and you can set which ones will cut. So like, let's say I don't want any of the any of the blue lines to cut. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna deselect all the blue lines, but I'm gonna make sure that the red lines cut. Does that make sense? I hope so. So yeah, that's going to do. So right now, when I send it to my machine, up here along this outline, it won't cut, but it will cut in this inner outline, and this inner outline will be 1.5 by whatever planner you're using, like by the height. So it should fit perfectly in that full box. Now, something you'll also want to ensure is that this here is not going to cut. That's pretty important. You don't want the inside of your half box to cut. So again, you can just select it, and then scroll up. Where were my settings? Oh, here, we'll just go standard, and then we'll hit no cut here. And then it won't cut this, but it'll cut the edge. So yeah, that's another thing. Also, like with this text, I do not want this to cut. It'll just mess up everything. So I'll hit no cut, highlight this. You might even want to delete that since it's kind of going over the line, actually. I think I'm going to do that. It makes more sense. Yeah. And I don't know why these aren't cutting here. You can probably set them to cut edge. There we go. Generally, cut edge is what you'll want on Silhouette devices. Alright, so the recorder cut out, but essentially all that happened was that I went through and deleted some of the text and headers. So I just wanted to close this video by saying thank you for watching, and you can definitely check out my Etsy shop if you're interested in getting some of these templates for yourself. Just to review the templates that I did mention in this video, one of them was the headers template where we talked about changing colors, text, etc. And this was a free download on my blog. You'll find it linked below. Another one was this kit template that comes with a bunch of other pages, and I'll be doing videos on those pages as well. I just thought I would make this one short and simple by starting off with this one, and this one's also available on my Etsy shop. You can get all 6 for $15, and this is available for the Happy Planner, the Erin Condren Vertical, the Erin Condren Horizontal, and the Big Happy Planner. The Big Happy Planner one is, I believe, $2 extra, just because it contains an extra page of things that didn't fit on the other pages. That's why that one is a bit more expensive. But then you also have this page, which is $2.70, and this is available for the Happy Planner and the Erin Condren Vertical. And it comes with just this page if you're not interested in paying the full $15 for everything else. So it makes it pretty easy to get something. Just a quick reminder, anything that is downloaded for free on the blog is strictly for personal use, and I have more information on that in the terms of use section, which you can click on above this video in the header section of my website. Everything from the Etsy shop varies. If it's marked for personal use, then it's for personal use. Again, I define those in the section in the actual listing itself. But you can always add on a commercial license, which is, I think, $22 now. I may be changing the price later, I'm not sure. But for now, that's what it is. And that commercial use license will essentially enable you to sell or repost anything that you make on it, which means that you can either give them away as freebies, or you can sell them as digital files, or you can sell them as physical things. And that includes, and like when I say selling, I mean like taking what you've created with them and then selling them as completely flattened files, which means that they're not editable anymore, which means that they're no longer a template. Which, if you're a sticker maker, you'll know what I mean when I say that. So that's what that is. Yeah. So you can also, there are some of the bundles that have a commercial license included in them, and that commercial license is cheaper than if you were to buy it separately because it is a bundle. But yeah, that's all I have to say for that. Just some quick reminders on that. If you're interested in checking them out, you definitely should. And yeah, be sure to send me pictures of stickers that you've made using these. I've seen a couple of them on Instagram, and it's actually a lot of fun to see how people are getting into making their own stickers. I would highly advise you to start making your own, either through templates or if you just want to make your own yourself. There are tons of tutorials explaining how to. It's just a lot of fun, and it makes it really good because you can literally customize them to whatever you want. You no longer have to ask people to design things for you when you can just pull up your computer, laptop, whatever, and then just you can resize them however you'd like, add text, change colors, etc. Makes it a lot easier and a lot more versatile, and makes your planner truly customizable. Gives you something unique that no one else has. So yeah, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.